Hi there, students. The scales fell from his eyes. Okay, this is an idiomatic expression. This means when somebody is finally able to see a situation for what it really is, to see it clearly and accurately, having been tricked or not having understood for a long time. So she was in love with him, but then he was unfaithful to her, and the scales fell from her eyes, and she saw him as he really was. Yeah? Okay, so he had always wanted to be a professional footballer. But when he was chosen to play for Manchester United, the scales fell from his eyes and he realised it wasn't as romantic and fantastic as he thought it would be. She had always dreamed of how wonderful it would be to be a princess and to marry a prince. But then she read Lady Diana's biography, and the scales fell from her eyes. She understood that it wasn't the fantastic, wonderful life that she imagined it was. So if the scales fall from somebody's eyes, they suddenly realize the truth about something after a long period either not understanding or being tricked or deceived by it. So the student always thought that English grammar was really complicated and he would never understand this idea. But when he watched one of Alex's videos, the scales fell from his eyes. He suddenly understood. He suddenly understood clearly. So here the scales falling from the eyes. This is from a state of not understanding to a state of understanding. Yeah? There's an example of the scales falling from somebody's eyes in the Christian Bible, where a guy called Saul is on his way to Damascus, and suddenly something happens and the scales fall from his eyes and he becomes a devout believer. So scales, these are scales like the skin of a fish or the skin of a reptile. They're little sort of round or rectangular things on top of the skin. Yeah? And then it's like these scales are covering somebody's eyes so they can't see properly. And then the scales fall away and they suddenly are able to see reality as it really is. Okay, so the scales fell from his eyes. He suddenly understood something that he had not understood before, or he suddenly realized the truth of something that he had thought was different. So, next question. The scales fell from his eyes. How formal is this? I think I'd probably give it maybe 4.5, 5 in formality. I'd use it informally in a conversation, in an informal writing. I think you could use it in a semi-formal writing. But I think in something very formal, to see the reality, to finally understand the truth, to see with clarity, something like that. So, I hope any scales you had in your eyes about the meaning of this have fallen away and you understand it clearly. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. The scales fell from her eyes.